The #1 Georgia Bulldogs finally get a night game. The only catch is, it's taking place about 13 hours away in Columbia, Missouri. Hey everybody, this is Sarah Spencer with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and this is Know Your Dogs. To help me preview Saturday's game against the Tigers, I'll be joined by Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, offensive lineman Tate Ratledge, running back Kenny McIntosh, and, of course, our Georgia beat writer Chip Towers. So stay with us. Missouri actually has the SEC's leading receiver, Dominic Lovett. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say about the Tigers' offense overall, and that includes quarterback Brady Cook.
Really nice job running the ball, being physical and running the ball. They're always well coached on the offensive front in terms of the way they block their plays and the way they complement each other and shots down the field and playing vertical. I think their quarterback's done a good job this year. He's a good athlete. He can scramble around and extend plays and make plays with his feet.
Georgia's coming off a 39-22 win against Kent State. It was a comfortable enough win, but giving up 22 points means there are some things that Georgia can learn from it. Here's offensive lineman Tate Ratledge on what the line can take away and also what they're up against in Missouri's defensive front.
I think we just have to play to our standard, and I don't think some of us did that game, not me in particular. I think there's a lot of things that we can work on against that. Odd fronts, of course, something we don't see that much at practice with our defense being strong, mainly 4 down. So that's something new, but with that week of practice, there shouldn't have been an excuse for it. They're really physical. They can all play ball. It's a really good defense line, and we're going to have our work cut out.
We haven't seen many explosive run plays for the Bulldogs yet, at least not from the running back core itself, but senior running back Kenny McIntosh has a feeling they're coming.
As a running backs, just being able to, getting those long runs and stuff like that, that has to come with being patient and stuff like that as well too. So it's gonna come definitely by the way we practice and compete throughout the week. It's definitely gonna come.
All right, everybody, let's bring in our Georgia beat writer, Chip Towers. Chip, we're rocking the fall colors. It's windy.
We are.
It's gorgeous. It's fall weather. It's football weather. This is beautiful. We're actually matching loafers right now. You probably can't tell. I don't know if Ryan has the capability to pan down. There it is. Oh, I did that just like live. There we go. Okay, Chip. Georgia beat Kent State by 17, a comfortable win, but there were a few things that kind of, maybe not got exposed, but kind of if you're an opponent, you're like, hey, maybe we can do that against Georgia too. One of that might be kind of that screen pass game.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I tell you, if Missouri hasn't done a lot of things well, but the one thing they do well under Coach Eli Drinkwitz is run those hitches and screens to the wide receivers. In fact, their entire offense is predicated upon throwing to open up the run game, and so they have that in their package. And the problem with as good as Kent State and the Golden Flashes were, you got to think Missouri's going to be better. They're playing at home at night. They have Luther Burden, the #1 wide receiver prospect in the country that everybody thought was going to go to Georgia. He ends up there. He's running a lot of that stuff. It's a dangerous situation. So we don't get to watch Georgia's practice. I know this. They have been working on that wide receiver screen and defending those hitches 1,000 times if they've done it twice. I'm sure of that.
Now, I don't know if you guys caught Missouri's game against Auburn, a 17-14 loss. That was brutal to watch, whether you're a Missouri fan or just an innocent bystander. Missouri had the chance to win it on a field goal, then they had the chance to win it in overtime. They fumble right as they were almost about to get a touchdown. It was just brutal, and I thought to myself, like, man, I don't know, it kind of is a bummer that you got to face them right after that. They probably learned a lot from that game. They're probably kind of smarting a little bit from that game.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. You really did, watching it on television. You wanted to give Eli Drinkwitz a hug, because that was just, he had coached them up well. They're a dangerous team, I think, because they're really good on defense. I mean, that's the best thing they do, and they have the capability to do some good things on offense. They're a little bit in a transition on the offensive side of the ball. But that is a perfect example. We've seen them get blown out by Kansas State on the road and then, lose this nip and tuck game. I mean, truthfully, that game was about as ugly in terms of just the competitiveness of the two teams that I've seen in the SEC in a long time. So I think they're vulnerable. Vegas has set this line at 28 points, which makes me totally uncomfortable, and probably most longtime Georgia fans. We got 4 touchdowns on the road at night. Wow. I mean, they're expecting a lot of Georgia, but, Georgia wants a lot to be expected of it. and they're the #1 team in the country, and they can play so much better than they did this past week. But I promise you, they're going to get Missouri's best shot.
Now, Javon Bullard, we had some news on that front. Catch us up on that.
Well, Javon Bullard, we don't know for sure, but I'm fairly certain that he's going to be suspended. And he started every game, didn't start one of the 4 because Georgia went with a different package, but he's your starter there. And Georgia is very young otherwise. 2 freshmen, will be looked to step in there. And Tyke Smith, now he's the junior, transferred here from West Virginia, but he's played very little and coming off a knee injury. This may be the game where you see Tyke Smith step up. They need him to.
Give me your thoughts on Georgia's run game so far. I actually wrote about this the other day. You know who has the longest run play of the season? It's not a running back. It's tight end Brock Bowers. That 75-yard play against Kent State.
Yeah. Nobody has much over 12 or 15 yards besides that. I think it's been disappointing. Now, Kirby and I kind of sort of butting our heads a little bit on this because I keep hinting at it. I mean, I thought Georgia's interior offensive line play, your guards and your center was poor to average against Kent State, and it needs to be so much better than that. Some of that has to do with Kent State's kind of odd defensive front and what they do. I didn't think they played very well. Now, Kirby argues we never punted. We had 539 yards. We scored 39 points, and that's a point.
And the bar is just so high. I mean, if you're going to call it RBU.
That's right, and we haven't seen anything resembling RBU all year. We need to see it this week.
Chip, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to all of you for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more videos just like this.